Hi, I'm Jeremy. I used to be a computer engineer and I worked in Silicon Valley for 15 years. 5 years ago, I started to feel a mysterious sickness, and it was unbearable for me to work in front of my computer. My face was burning, got itchy, and would even go numb sometimes. I felt dizzy, had headaches, lost my balance, and my speech was blurred. I even lost memory and couldn't recognize myself at times. I can't think clearly until I've turned off all my electronics. At night, I'd have nightmares and could hardly breathe if my wife had left her cell phone on. After some research, I was shocked. Thousands of people were experiencing the same thing. Medical experts call it EHS, electromagnetic hypersensitivity. The World Health Organization has identified radiation as potentially carcinogenic. Between 3 and 20% of the general population now experience one or more EHS symptoms when exposed to EMF pollution, caused by wireless technology and electrical wiring. However, my doctor didn't know anything about electrohypersensitivity. The psychiatrists that I've spoken to all say that EHS is a psychosomatic reaction to a perceived threat. The Department of Health do not recognize electrohypersensitivity as a real disease, nor has approved disability payment for individuals that suffer from it. The EF radio frequency standards that now exist are too lenient and are not developed by health professionals, but by physicists and engineers from technology, communication, media companies, and the military. This method is not mindful of human health, nor does it provide motivation for the appropriate industries to develop real solutions. The industry doesn't want to admit it, but the science is becoming clearer. Currently, 100% of the population is biologically affected by EMF pollution. We live in a wireless electric world. Electricity, microwaves, cell phones, cell phone towers, power lines, transformer boxes, even coal-fired power plants all form an invisible wave of negativity that consistently surround us. It's been proven that EMF pollution leads to health issues such as cancer, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and other illnesses related to immune, cardiac, nervous, and endocrine system dysfunction. However, most will not feel the effects for years or even decades. Those who react severely, like me, become EMF refugees. My sensitivity to EMF pollution got to the point that I needed to make major lifestyle changes. I now electro-sanitize my home, I changed the wiring and put cages to our electrical devices, and even put nests on our windows. I spend most of my time at home. I can't use public transportation, and can't walk very far. The whole experience became quite humiliating, especially from the isolation and constant rejection. There was a time when my wife would get very frustrated, always thinking that I was overreacting. But since then, she's grown to be more concerned. The birth of our first child has also changed her perspective on my condition, as children are 2 to 3 times more sensitive to radiation than adults. I've also found out that animals and plants are affected by EMF pollution. Cell phone towers wipe out flocks of birds. Trees planted along sidewalks tend to grow in Y formation in order to avoid power lines and EMF radiation. A good friend of mine has a very hyper corgi that just drives everyone mad. I suggested to my friend to turn off all his electronics, and instantly the dog became much calmer. Apparently now he's a joy to have in the house. Concerned for my family's health, we decided to move away from the city and live in a more rural area. Without any EMF pollution, we can have our healthy, happy, and active lives back. However, we're always worried that we're going to be forced to move on. I recently heard that there's going to be a cell tower built nearby. That scares me. One cell tower, and I'm back to where I started.
Based on Jeremy's story, I've developed 3 directions to protect people who suffer from EHS, bring awareness to those people who don't, and provide motivation for appropriate industries to develop real solutions. The first solution is a device that detects users' EMF exposure level based on time, distance, and radiation frequency. When the EMF exposure level gets too high, it automatically provides treatments that helps protect users from radiation. The second solution is furniture that reacts to radiation and mimics EHS symptoms in order to instill a more conscious way of using technology. The third solution are public fixtures that protect animals and plants from EMF pollution by creating EMF-free zones in urban areas.